Good morning, everyone. My name is Jennifer Cross, and I'm here with Dixie Andelin Forsyth, and we are going to be talking about the ideal woman for a feminine moment today. So, Dixie, can you tell us what that means and why it's important?
Well, first of all, I get a lot of comments from women saying it's a kind of a lifelong endeavor. It's not something that you just arrive at. Now I'm ideal and I never make mistakes. Everybody does. But you're talking about an ideal woman from a man's point of view, I think. And also we can expand that to even from even from a really well integrated woman's point of view. It's not like if you are an
Yeah.
ideal woman from a man's point of view, you're giving up some of yourself. But all of us want, most all women would love to be married to somebody that they loved who absolutely adored them. And so the woman that's going to bring that out, because women are the gatekeepers of civilization, and that just means that women are such a key in relationships because we tend to be more relationship oriented. We think about it quicker, longer. It means it's not that it doesn't mean anything to men, but they don't think about it a lot of times. They don't realize some of the little things that we do that can deepen or damage relationships, and they just go along until it's really bad, and then they think, oh my gosh, my relationship isn't any good.
Hmm.
Women are the ones who read more of the self-help books than men do. We tend to be more humble than men do.
Can
And
you
well,
explain the angelic side? Because I know that
okay,
the
yeah,
reason we're talking about this is because it does bring up really kind of some defensive feelings for women and, oh, angelic and human, what does that mean? And it's all good.
yeah. Fascinating Womanhood that my mother wrote she divided it up into, she had a line down the middle and divided it up into two sides of the same person. One is angelic, which is more
I
character.
have it. Can I show?
Yes,
This is from the vintage
yeah,
workbook.
yeah. That's the vintage workbook. That's the divided woman, we call it. And there's qualities on the angelic side, which is more character, and on the human side, which are more fascinating and feminine. And these are our ideals to work for, to develop in ourselves. It's not like, oh my gosh, you don't do this, so therefore you're a failure or anything like these. This is an ideal to work towards. It's
Yep.
a lifelong endeavor. And the angelic side is things like where you are a person of good character, you are long suffering, your domestic goddess is over there, and where you
Oh, understanding men.
understanding men. Uh, all men want to be understood.
Yeah.
Women want to be understood, and
Yeah.
this is. But the core of it is really character. When you learn about understanding men, understanding their need for admiration, their masculine pride, and things like that. That's all on the character side of us. The other side is the fascinating part. It's the part that's more charming and endearing, and childlikeness is over there too. How we deal in certain situations,
Yeah.
how we dress, how we move. All of that is on the human side. So if you're talking about the ideal woman, it's a goal. And if I was starting out, I wasn't raised, I was raised with this, so I sort of know it. But if I wasn't, I would probably take a page like that and tape it to my wall. So
Yeah.
I would see those qualities all the time and be kind of working on them.
And that's the ideal woman from a man's point of view. That's really important to be
But
said
it's but
because
the reason,
what do women look for? And that's kind of where we've gotten off track is we're always looking for what women would look for.
that's true. Although women sometimes, I think the reason my mother said from a man's point of view isn't that we should give up anything that we want. We should just do things for them and nothing for
No,
ourselves.
nothing like
What
that.
what what it means is that that's actually what women want too when they understand it, because they want that kind of a relationship. Who doesn't, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's the greatest thing that you can possibly have in this life is the deep, abiding, romantic love of a wonderful man.
Mm-hmm.
Do anything for you. It's it's just amazing. And so, and these are things that that are attainable, as long as you're married to a basically decent guy, not a perfect person, but a decent guy who's really wants to do what's right. He really wants to be a good person and that kind of thing. But
That's awesome.
yeah, so from a, when you asked about what women want, women
Yeah.
often see things different in each other. They see beauty, physical beauty, as more valuable than, say, character. It's what's advertised. I mean, you go on any supermarket checkout stand, they're advertising sexiness, youth, beauty, all these things. Like if you are uh, physically beautiful woman, you can have anything you want. Well, without naming any names,
Not true.
I have two sons, grown, and I asked them individually what famous actresses did they find beautiful and ones that they didn't, that were are generally known as being beautiful women. And so that's why I said I'm not going to say any names, but there was one that's very famous and that's generally thought to be one of the most beautiful women in the world. And both of my sons, who are quite different from each other, said that that person really gave them the creeps because they thought she was beautiful until she spoke. And then she was it was like she was they saw her as sort of a castrating kind of female, like
Yeah.
a man eater, and yeah, I said, well, who do you find attractive? And I can name names here because they said, both of them independently said that the woman Gal Gadot that plays Wonder Woman,
Oh yeah.
they said they found her so attractive, and it wasn't just because of her physical looks, it's because she's feminine. And
That movie was fantastic.
I thought it was so interesting, the different, because they could verbalize. They said, well, they may be physically attractive, but they're a complete turnoff because of this, this, and this. Whereas there was one actress, I remember one son said he thought she was physically very attractive, and she was so feminine that even her political views, didn't dissuade them from thinking she was really great. So in that case, her femininity made up the difference.
Yes.
The one that they both said, oh, kind of.
That's so powerful.
Yeah. So this is somebody they don't even know. This is from a man's point of view, a woman that most women think is one of the world's most beautiful women. They don't really take into consideration how she seems to men. I haven't looked at her that way because I'm not a man. That they saw her as very dangerous as far as men goes, and so they find that repulsive.
Repulsive.
So it ended up that they thought that she wasn't even attractive. It took away from her being attractive. Not so. I'll tell you that the opposite. The flip side of that is also true. If you're an average person and you don't feel like you look like a movie star or anything, it doesn't matter. You can be perceived as being a beautiful woman by the man that you love if he sees you that way through his eyes because of the way you are, the way you move, the way you talk. Understanding men,
the way you treat him.
Understanding men is so important. Sympathetic understanding, his need for specific admiration, his need for his masculinity to be admired. Most men are starving for it. I see it everywhere. They are starving. And so it's free. Just, give it to your sons, your fathers, your uncles. And we're not talking about romantic love here. We're talking about, understanding men. And actually, it's a type of service. Give people, if somebody's hungry, you're going to give them something to eat. Mm-hmm. Give men this validation that they crave and that they need. And it doesn't cost you a cent.
So what would you say? I'm here to be sort of devil's advocate.
That's fine.
What would you say to the woman who says, well, what about me? He doesn't show me love. He's not affectionate toward me. And I want to ask for kisses and affection. And But
Well, you can ask for kisses and affection in a feminine way. I know the book says you have no right to ask for these things, but what that meant was demanding it. Well, you need to do this and you need to do that. That is not, you don't have a right to expect that because you're married to someone. You come over here and hug me or kiss me right now. I demand it because you owe it to me. I mean,
no,
nobody
but
wants,
through feminine influence, we can,
I tell Bob all the time, I'll say, oh, I really need a kiss. And
yeah,
it makes him feel good.
that's
Because
cute.
what's the matter? I said, I can't go any longer without a hug from you. I just can't. And he loves that. So
Oh,
it isn't what it's the context of it. And that's what was meant by that. You have no right to expect it in terms of you owe this to me.
yeah, that's
It's
not
an approach to it.
attractive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, and there was a video, I think you saw it, I showed it to you, of my mother on that game show, To Tell the Truth, years ago. She was on that,
Yeah.
and one of the women on the panelists says, well, what about women? Shouldn't men pamper us and take care of us? The answer is, of course. But women have such a key. And when women do their part, if you sit around and wait for men, you're going to be waiting a long time because they're not as sensitive. They don't tend to be.
Yeah, they're really, and they don't mean to be.
No, but
They're,
women who say, "Well, I'll act when he acts." That's not the right approach. It's
you're
not
going to
going to
wait.
work. Well, you'll lose.
You will.
We'll lose.
I think one of the greatest things that ever happened to me was the realization that he does not mean to hurt my feelings when he's doing that. And it's just up to me to say, honey, oh my goodness, that hurt my feeling. Something, you know what I mean? Or he doesn't mean to.
Unless you're married to a bum. Most men are a schmuck or whatever.
Right.
Most men, if you're married to a basically good guy, they can be thoughtless. They can, because they do tend to be insensitive. They tend to be more task oriented. So
Yeah.
they can be thoughtless. How we deal with that. And that's why the older I get, the more I realize childlikeness, and that's another subject, so valuable, because when you learn about childlikeness and how to use it, it can help you with, sometimes on a daily basis. Men will do these little thoughtless things, and rather than just sort of do nothing,
ignore,
do nothing, it's a way for you to let some of these things out in a very charming way that puts your point across. But it not only is charming, it can actually deepen your relationship. Now, who wouldn't want that?
I know. I thank you so much for making that point at the end. That is brilliant. So everyone, if you have more questions about the ideal woman, you must buy Fascinating Womanhood Vintage Edition. This is the updated, revised, edited edition by Dixie, who's the mother.
I've taken out the dated parts. There's some parts that are really dated from the 60s that some people, it kind of confuses them. And I've taken out scripture references because these are Thomas principles that stand on their own. And we are a worldwide organization now, and we don't want women who are from different faiths, say Hindu or Buddhist or any of these, or no faith at all, to feel like that these principles don't apply to them. And that's
right. These are principles of womanhood.
They're timeless principles.
Timeless principles of womanhood. And this book is beautiful. The cover's gorgeous. So please get the hard copy, although there are limited copies. Right?
Yeah, this printing is almost sold out. We're going to be ordering some more, but that'll take a few weeks. But in the meantime, we should have the ebook available hopefully this week.
Yay. Thank you. And the companion workbook, very important to have that, is also sold on the website, fascinatingwomanhood.com.
And we all know that ebooks are less expensive than books, and with no shipping.
Yes. Thank you, Dixie, so much for this information. We so appreciate you, and we appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, and share below. We love your questions, comments, and feedback. If you want to learn more about Fascinating Womanhood and the pro-feminine movement, please go to fascinatingwomanhood.com.
Keep the questions coming.
Keep them coming. Thank you so much for today, and that's it for A Feminine Moment. Bye-bye.
Bye.